Welcome in, Rover Sports. We are here. We are live. It is Good Cop, Bad Cop with Davey Longhorns, the first installation. Good Cop, Bad Cop. And Dave,
Yes.
you are, in fact, the good cop here.
Oh, man, I'm not used to this.
No, you're usually the bad cop, right?
I'm used to just being contrarian as can be, but, sometimes we got to be uncomfortable in our
That's
lives.
what makes you great. And the good news is, Dave, try to film up like some headroom there. Lower the camera a little bit. I like that even more. All right, let's tee it up. You're Isaiah Simmons to the Giants. You are the good cop. Go ahead and start.
All right, so Isaiah Simmons to the Giants. Last year, won the first team all ACC, first team All American, unanimous All American. Pretty much after Chase Young, you can't argue Chase Young, Isaiah Simmons, far and beyond the two most dominant defensive players. Now, this is a Giants team that, won what some would say a few too many games at the end of last year and really blew the chance to get Chase Young. This Giants team has lacked for years a dominant linebacker play. And this guy, everything you see of him is a dominant linebacker. He's versatile in today's game where you have to be able to cover running backs, tight ends, even wide receivers. This guy lined up at defensive end, linebacker, cornerback, safety last year. His versatility is off the charts. He had a combined 107 tackles last year, 7 sacks, 3 interceptions, and about fumble force and fumble recovery. And the guy is all over the place, 8 pass deflections. He's kind of one of these guys who just everywhere on the field all the time. Great player, most dominant player in college football last year on the defensive end all year round because Chase Young did take a few games off and really gives the versatility that the Giants need on a defense that is in the completely depleted of talent. We'll get back to my next point. Spencer, you go from here.
All right, so I'll go from here. So I believe that out of everybody in this class, one, I think at 4 you could trade back. You don't have to take Isaiah Simmons. I think that there's a lot of other good options. I think he is a very good football player, but a lot of his pressures are kind of towards the middle of the field. And he's going up kind of against ACC guys. He is dominating his competition. But I just wonder, he's not exactly a pass rusher. He's not exactly an edge rusher. You have Blake Martinez already. And you look at Daniel Jones. You could protect Daniel Jones with an offensive tackle. Or I do look at K'Lavon Chaisson, and I know his team won a national championship. But I look at Chaisson and I look at Kenneth Murray, and these guys I like the way that they're so intense about football. I love the way that these guys bring that intensity. Now, Simmons does bring intensity, but and Simmons was a very good player, and yes, he can cover. Will he fit in the Joe Judge scheme? I'm not sure. I just don't see it. I do question, Chaisson and these guys did more interviews. Kenneth Murray, I know a little bit better. Simmons was kind of hidden, so I need to see more interviews, and that's up, I guess, to Simmons. But again, this could be a jack of all trades, jack of none. You don't want another Jabril Peppers on your team. Maybe the Giants love Jabril Peppers, and I'm not quitting on him. But as a top 5 pick, you need something set in stone.
So basically, right now, you're saying you'd rather draft Kenneth Murray at 4 than Isaiah Simmons.
I would rather have Chaisson at 4, which you could get at 4, or I'd rather have Jedrick Wills.
Okay. I mean, the way I see Isaiah Simmons is this is just a team. The Giants, as I've said, there's no talent on that defensive end. It's the worst team defensively in the NFL last year. I really believe it. And, you say Blake Martinez, well, why not put another linebacker? Guy runs a 4.39 40, basically just the biggest athletic freak in the whole draft. Why not put a playmaker on defense outside of Chase Young? Why not put that guy on your defense with a Blake Martinez, an established linebacker type, where you can literally line this guy up anywhere on the field and go from there. You could say Jedrick Willis, I get it. But if you're talking about the Giants and you're filling a need today and trying to win games year one for Joe Judge, Isaiah Simmons is a stopgap player without a doubt. I could see the argument for Willis, offensive linemen are a bigger premium, but Chase on, I mean, this guy Simmons was a much better player in college. Kenneth Murray is, to me, I mean, his defense couldn't stop anyone against LSU. I'm talking about make any stops at any point.
Right.
He's a non-factor.
That's not really his fault, though. He was doing everything he could. He was even hurt during the game, I believe.
Either way, his defense was non-factor.
But by the way, Oklahoma, they were down 28-3 against Baylor. They came back because of Kenneth Murray. Their defense was really good this year because of Kenneth Murray.
And outside of one game, there weren't 28 points given up by Clemson all year in games. So
why is Simmons better than Murray?
More versatile, faster, better tackler. Murray is pretty much, to me, he goes side to side to stop a run, but you can't get him the pass cover. Very shoddy pass coverage guy, and that's really when in the NFL where everything is spread out and you put in space, Murray doesn't cover well at all. So, if you're talking about the NFL of 15 years ago where you're running in straight lines, trying to plug the A gap as a linebacker, yeah, I'm taking Kenneth Murray. But I don't think that's what the NFL is, and it's kind of where even Luke Kuechly, put up these gaudy tackle numbers, but still at the end of the day, had to evolve as this guy who could somewhat cover these running backs and still struggle in the NFL at it. But
so you think that you don't think Chason can cover as well as this guy?
There's not one linebacker that can come close to covering as well as this guy. If we're going based on the versatility, and I get the argument of the jack of some trades and not the jack of one, this guy is still the most versatile. This guy can cover a wide receiver.
You're gonna win the argument if you can convince me, okay? Because Isaiah Simmons during this Instagram post, he said, "My numbers out of this world. No wonder I feel so alienated." He posted that on Instagram. Now I get that these young athletes, they try to pump themselves up, or he calls himself the unicorn because, like you said, he just plays defense. You can't put him in one mold. Now he is very confident. Will he buy into the system of Joe Judge? Will he be a guy that puts his team first instead of himself? Because I even look at Yannick Ngakoue, and we still have 5 minutes here, so maybe I'm getting off course. But Yannick Ngakoue, to me, Davey, I'm even a little bit worried about Ngakoue fitting the Giants mold because of how he's complaining so much. So do you understand how critical it is to get guys that are team first guys for Joe Judge, how critical culture is? And what do you think about Simmons, Instagram, Ngakoue, and all of that?
Ngakoue, I'm not addressing anyone but Isaiah Simmons right now.
Okay.
That's an Instagram post. There's nothing controversial about it. That's just like everybody else. They have some sort of self-promoting Instagram before the draft. You want some hype. You're talking about a guy who played on what is the best defense for the last 2 years. Basically, was the best player on that defense for the last year and a half. We'll put it that way. Like from that latter half of that 2018 national championship year until end of last year, he was basically the best player on that defense. Really just took big strides over the last year. And Will Venables, I don't see anything but this guy being a team first guy that we know of so far. I would say we don't have as much footage on Isaiah Simmons interviews, kind of a la Kenneth Murray or things like that. And you know what that could be? That could be Isaiah Simmons being like, I'm very secure with myself and who I am. I don't need to put this fluff out there. I don't need to put a sob story about the rest of my life out there, and Kenneth Murray's story is unbelievable. What I'm saying is he's saying my film does the talking. I don't need an outside source of why I want a fan base to come get me. My football is what I'm selling, not my backstory.
Okay. You have a good argument. The only way that I could really, I think, really get at winning this argument, because right now I think you're winning this argument about Simmons, I will admit that. Because on the field, I watch the guy, and yes, I can't help but think this guy's incredible. He's a track star. He's versatile. I love him on the field. And in the Instagram posts, like you said, it's just him being a young kid. But here's, I guess, my argument is that when are you next going to have this opportunity to draft a Jedrick Wills or Wirfs, who could be a Pro Bowl left tackle at pretty much protecting the quarterback from the tackle spot? So when you play Von Miller, or when more specifically you're going to play against maybe Jalen Smith coming off the edge, or now Chase Young coming off the edge, we're going to need some help in that capacity for the offensive line. And offensive line's more valuable than linebacker.
I 100% agree with that. And if you could guarantee me that Jedrick Willis is the guy, I would say pick him at 4. But the bust rate of offensive linemen seems to be enormously high. So, like, I've seen linemen.
Let's go. Robinson, Fisher, Jokel, right?
Jokel. Let's think here. Who's the guy?
Todd Fisher. I think the Jags draft Fisher. I
have to pull up I have to pull up drafts right now. But
Robinson out of Auburn was awful. Yeah, I might have taken all of
them. Who was Robinson out of Auburn? Who's the guy that the Rams drafted? It might be a long time ago, out of Baylor.
It's not Chris Long. They're also the center Irving, maybe out of Baylor. Was it the guy? Remember when Jeff Fisher trotted all of those guys to midfield?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. But the bust rate, we're kind of Jason Smith.
Okay.
If you remember him, second overall pick out of Baylor,
Yes.
Absolute bust, And it's just, you come, that's 2009, so I was going a little bit further back in my head than I would have liked. But the thing about linemen is, like, I don't even know how you evaluate linemen with today with the speed rushers and things like that. I think the whole evolution of linemen might change in the next 2 to 3 years completely.
Right. Well, Wills was playing at Alabama, so he's up against a multitude of players, and his technique is very, very good. So I would maybe say Jedrick Wills. And yes, that might be a boring pick. Maybe we could trade back with Oakland, and it could be an interesting discussion. But Simmons on the field, I think you are absolutely right. I think it's foolish for anybody who watches football to say this guy wasn't really good at Clemson. This guy was fantastic.
That's pretty much
we pretty much did it. Good cop, bad cop, Isaiah Simmons, our argument. I worry about the Instagram stuff. As long as he buys into the team, I'm okay with it. If you like an offensive tackle, I think we would both do that as well. Guys, everybody stay right back. We will be back in literally 2 to 5 minutes.